Good evening. You're welcome to another edition of Import Export Platform, Facebook Live from 3 Team Pest Trade Academy. My name is Dele Ayemibo. We'll continue from where we stop on starting and managing export business. And this evening we'll be looking at part 97. Wow. 97. We are almost there, and we are going to hit 100 pretty much soon. And this might be, I hope it will not be more than 100. I hope it will not be more than 100. I hope that it will not be more than 100. It will be definitely more than 100 because the list of principles I have with me right now is about, we have just done about 25, and I still have about 15 to go. 15 will take me about 5 episodes. 5 plus 97, that will be 100. And then I will now round off with one or two other sessions, and then we'll be closing all the discussion on starting and managing export business, principle of export business success. Principle of export business success. Like I said, this principle is not just for export, it's also applicable for other things. It's not just for export, it's also applicable for other things. So this evening we'll be looking at the law of exposure, the law of persistence, and the law of change. The law of exposure, the law of persistence, and the law of change. Let me remind you that circumstances are usually overrated. Reality, even though true, is not the truth about what you can do as a human being and what you can do as far as that business is concerned. Reality is not the truth, even though reality can be true. It is your duty as a human being to outgrow your known self. It is your duty as a human being to outgrow your known self. Circumstances are overrated. So when you are faced with a challenge, no matter the way you look at the challenge, circumstances are always overrated. Reality, even though might be true, but it's not always the truth. Reality, even though might be the truth, might be true, but it's not always the truth. And it's your duty as human to outgrow known self. To outgrow known self. And that's very important. These are very heavy words and very important. Reason being that having that mindset will help you as you go along in business, so that when you are faced with challenges, you are able to sit down to confront it. Remember, principles are universal, experience is peculiar. Principles are universal, experience is peculiar. So, the principle I'm talking about are principles that can help you grow the business, irrespective of where you are. Either you are in Nigeria or you are not in Nigeria. You are in Africa or you are not in Africa. This principle is a principle that works because it's a principle that will guide and have helped a lot of people in the past. The law of exposure says that your reality in life results from the information and knowledge that you have come in contact with in the journey of life. Your reality in life. Your reality in life is as a result of the information you have come across on your journey in life. Information and knowledge that you have come in contact with in your journey in life. So, that reality is not the truth about you. Even though that reality is true, given a different circumstances and situation, given a different environment, you will realize that your reality will change completely. If you do business in Nigeria and you have a challenge, that is a reality. But that's the truth about that situation, but that's not the truth about you and what you can do. If you go and do that business in another environment, you're going to have a different reality entirely. The fact that your environment, as your environment change, that reality is likely going to change is to tell you that circumstances that you face, if you think that is all you can do, you are overrating it. Circumstances is always overrated. Circumstances is always overrated. Reality sorry, I need to just respond to something. There's been a discussion. I will digress a little. There's been a discussion. The president recently signed an agreement, and people have been arguing on the platform. Have been arguing about why the president should sign or not. It is a way of protecting one another. So deep, I'm on a platform that the argument has been very hot. Sorry for the digression. Because of the fact that a lot of people feel the president should not sign. The presidents have signed, and some are still against why the president signed, and I'm for it. I'm not a protectionist. I believe strongly if we are going to grow our economy, we need to trade, and we need to take advantage of AFCFTA, and we cannot say, let me look at this issue I'm talking about in the reality of this. These people arguing against this are saying because of the current reality of Nigeria. Because that reality is true now, but that's not the truth about what Nigeria can become. And does not mean we will never change. But they believe it's not going to happen. And on the strength of that, we should mortgage the future of unborn generation and not sign. If the unborn generation now fix Nigeria, make it difficult for Nigeria to now join, because there's no, they didn't envisage that any African country will not join, so they didn't even make room for people to come and join afterwards. And then people are saying we should not. Anyway, let me go back to my conversation. I just have to digress on that, but just talking about the fact that reality, even though it might be true, it's not the truth about you. And this is the reason why a lot of people give up easily in life. They see the reality as the truth, even though the reality is true, but that's not the truth. That circumstances, given your tenacity, will change with time. One thing I've learned as human being is that every challenge has the inherent capacity to fizzle out with time. Every challenge has a DNA for it to expire itself. So if you stay true and persevere doing what you need to do, you will overcome that challenge. It's just a matter of time. But because we want quick, sharp, quick fix it, sometimes we rush and allow ourselves to be coerced. And then we take the wrong decision and run away. And that's why some people will do 5 businesses in 5 years. 5 different businesses in 5 years. Why? Because they look at that reality, they hold this as the truth. Reality can be true, but it is not the truth about you. Reality can be true, but it's not the truth about you. It is the duty of human spirit to outgrow known self. You can outgrow known self. You can outgrow known self. Circumstances is always overrated. Circumstances is always overrated. Reality, even though appear to be true, is not the truth about you. Reality, even though appear to be true, is not the truth about you. It is the duty of human spirit to outgrow known self. It is the duty of the human spirit to outgrow known self. The law of exposure says that your reality in life is based on what you have faced on your journey of life. Your reality in that business is based on what you have faced in your journey in that business. That reality is not the truth about you. That reality is not the truth about you. That reality, even though it's true, it's not the truth about you. Given a change in circumstances, you will realize that you will not think the way you are thinking right now. That's why you cannot afford to give up on that business simply because you face a challenge. That's why you need mentoring to reduce your error rate as you start. But always remember that circumstances you are facing now should not be overrated. Should not be overrated like saying, nobody have ever faced this. This is too much for me to bear. It can be much, like I faced when I came out of banking and lost a lot of money. It can be much, but just know that you have what it takes to overcome that challenge. It's just a matter of time. You have what it takes to overcome that challenge. It's just a matter of time. You know why? I strongly believe that a challenge beyond your power will really not come your way. A challenge beyond your power will not come your way. If God allows it in your life, be rest assured, you actually have what it takes to overcome it. The real question is, will you be patient enough to do what you need to do in terms of overcoming that challenge? Because sometimes we just seriously overestimate the challenge we are faced with, thinking that no, it's too much. And I'm saying, according to the law of exposure, your reality in life is as a result of the information you have been exposed to. So do not think that you cannot overcome that challenge. I say of a truth, you can overcome that challenge. I say, how long is the process to get proof of fund? Proof of fund in export is basically informing your bank for your bank to provide via Swift message for your buyer to provide via Swift message that you have what it takes to be able to get the job done. So you want to buy goods, and the seller is saying he needs you to provide proof of fund. What that is basically saying is that you should get your bank to send a Swift message to my bank. So if you are the exporter, Sanjeev Kuzda, if you are the exporter and you are the one telling the importer to provide proof of fund, it should not take him more than a week. A day to inform his bank. Day 2, his bank send the message. Day 3, you receive it, max. But all this can be closed within a day. I'm just giving example of depending on efficiency of the organization. So proof of fund can be taken care of within a week. So if the proof of fund is taking more than a week, most likely the buyer does not have the fund. Sanjeev, if the proof of fund is taking more than a week, most likely that buyer does not have that proof of fund. Most likely that buyer does not have proof of fund. If it's taking more than a week, be rest assured, he does not have that proof of fund. So what am I saying in essence? Does proof of fund need to be entire contract of a certain percentage of delivery? It depends. It doesn't, if the buyer allow partial shipment. If partial shipment is allowed, then you can make a proof of fund of a partial, the first tranche. If partial shipment is allowed. If partial shipment is not allowed, I think the proof of funds should be for the total. If you tell me you are going to be able to buy, and I'm in doubt as to your ability to buy, then, and I say you to provide proof of fund, and I'm not allowing, and we don't agree partial shipment, then the proof of fund must be complete. I'm sure I've answered Sanjeev's question. Sanjeev, thank you very much. I believe you are asking your question from maybe India or Pakistan. I appreciate your question. Thank you very much. I'll continue from where I stopped. I'll move on to the second principle now. It's called the law of persistence. The law of persistence. The law of persistence. The law of persistence. The longer a man is willing. Oh, Sanjeev, doesn't that lock the cash flow? Sanjeev, look at this. If you are going to give an LC, most likely you will have given that cash to the bank. If the importer is going to give you an LC, most likely we give that cash to the bank. So anyhow, it will tie down the cash. Anyhow, it will tie down the cash. Because you have to give the bank that assurance before paying. So if the buyer have said, the seller have said, give me an LC, you will have given the bank the comfort. The bank will have given the bank the comfort. So tying down the cash for me is not really a serious argument, in the sense that as far as we are concerned, all right, Sanjeev, thank you very much. I quite appreciate your question. Thank you very much. And other people watching, if you have questions, please feel free to drop your question, and I'll be very, very glad to answer your question. Feel free to drop your question, and I'll be very, very glad to answer your question. Thank you very much. The law of persistence. The longer a man is willing to persist in his pursuit in life, the higher the chance of success. The longer a man is willing to persist in his pursuit in life, the higher the chance of success. My question then is, what is the difference between persistence and stubbornness? What is the difference between persistence and stubbornness? An individual is stubborn if you have done something and it didn't work, and you are repeating the same thing the same way for the same reason. That is stubbornness and is foolishness. That is stubbornness and is foolishness. Persistence is different from stubbornness in the sense that I persist to still do what I want to do to get the same result I'm trying to get, but I'm not doing it the same way. I'm like Thomas Edison. Every time I redo it, I modify it. I keep doing it in a different way to still achieve the same result until I'm able to do it correctly. Thomas Edison was asked, how come you persevere for this hundreds of times, probably thousands of times, to be able to get this job done and discover how we can be able to invent a bulb? And he said, no, I have not failed in the course of my journey in discovering bulb. I have only learned several ways it will not work. I have only learned several ways it will not work. So, when you try and it didn't work, don't get discouraged. You are just learning and knowing the way that will not work. You are just learning and knowing the way that will not work. You are just learning and knowing the way that will not work. You are just learning and knowing the way that will not work. And that is very okay. That is fine. For you to learn and know how it will not work. Very good. And then you keep doing it again, but modifying the way you do it. And that's the difference between stubbornness and persistence. That's the difference between stubbornness and persistence. So the law of persistence says, the longer you're willing to persist in your pursuit in life, in business, the higher the chance of success. The shorter you can stay in your pursuit, the lower the chance of success. If you are going to boost your chance of success, be ready to persist. Don't do a business once. You had a challenge in your first export project, and you said, no, export is not a good business. Import is not a good business. I'm not going to deal again. No. That is not okay at all. You've got to be persistent. You've got to be persistent. You've got to be persistent. Don't get discouraged as a result of a challenge. Those challenges are a way of testing your resolve and resolution to make it a success. So life has a way of testing your seriousness in the business you are doing. Life has a way of testing your seriousness in the business you are doing. Every venture you are going to go through will go through the bell curve. It's going to go through the initial depression. There might be losses along the way. Does not mean you don't know what you are doing. Does not mean you're wrong. It's just testing your resoluteness. Testing your resoluteness. Testing your being resolved to get the answer, to get the job done. Let's learn to live by principles. You cannot live life on your own terms. If you try to live life on your own terms, you might crash on your own terms. You can't do the business on your own terms. Export can be challenging. You can't do it on your own terms. Learn to walk by principles. Learn to walk by principles. Principle does not change. It gives you direction how to live, how to love. It gives you an example of what works best. Don't just look at people's experiences. Look at the principle behind their actions. You will find out the secret to their success. Look at the principle behind their actions. You'll find out the principle for their success. Don't get carried away. Don't get discouraged just because you are faced with a challenge. The longer you are willing to persist in your pursuit, in life, in business, the higher your chance of success. And remember the difference between persistence or perseverance and stubbornness. Stubbornness is doing it repeatedly the same way and expect a different result. Albert Einstein called that a flavor of lunacy. Doing the same thing the same way and expect a different result. He called it a flavor of lunacy. But if you are going to be persistent and perseverant, then you have to do it differently each time you attempt to do it. Then you have to do it differently each time you attempt to do it. The last law I will look at today before I close is called the law of change. The law of change. Ravi Sudan Chama says, which bank LC is safe for dealing in Africa? Now, you have importer in Africa, I guess. You have importer in Africa, I guess. Now, I will be able to talk more about Nigeria. But let me tell you what I think you should look out for. Look out for the ranking of that bank. Go online, check. Standard & Poor's. Have they ranked that bank in any way? If they have, what is the ranking of that bank? Check rating of the bank. Number one. Number two, check the environment where that bank operates. How is their economy? What is the size of their foreign reserve? Is the economy growing or the economy is stagnated? Before you look at the bank itself. Generally in Nigeria, many will recommend the Tier 1 bank. So if I will ask Ravi, can you confirm to me which bank, which country in particular? I've spoken on a general note for you to check in any country you are looking at. If there is an international bank in that country, consider that. If that country has Standard Chartered Bank, Citibank, Standard Bank, you might consider that first. If you don't have any information about that country, Just look out for any international bank in that country. That might help you. Any international bank in that country. But if you want to look further, you might want to check out, is the economy growing? Are they stagnated? What is the level of their foreign reserve? Is it growing? Those are the things that you should look out for. Then look at that bank itself. What is the rating of the bank? And then what is the rating of the country? Ravi Sudan, Sharma, I believe I've answered your question. Thank you very much. As I continue, I was talking about round up with the law of persistence. And I said the last one is the law of change. Look at what the law of change says. Whatever you have accepted as norm in life, you cannot change. To make a change, you must be dissatisfied with the status quo. Whatever you have accepted as a norm in life, you cannot change. If you have accepted as a norm, you cannot change. If you accept jumping from one business to the other as a norm, you will not be able to change it. You must be dissatisfied with your status quo. If you start a business, you should be interested in the growth and advancement of the business. You must be dissatisfied with the status quo. What is your current status quo? Be rest assured that it can change. What is your current status quo? Be rest assured that it can change. But for it to change, you must be dissatisfied. As long as you are not dissatisfied with the status of the business right now, it will never grow. Because you are comfortable with it. You are unruffled with it. You are unperturbed with it. You are undisturbed with it. So you won't be able to change it. You need that internal energy of anger with the current status quo for you to be able to effect the necessary change. If you are okay with the current status quo, if the current status quo is palatable for you, I'm sorry, you will not be able to change it. But if the current status quo is not palatable for you, then you will change it. Then you will change it. So what is the status of your trade business? What do you want to see change there? Are you dissatisfied with the current status? You are then on the journey to change. So take a look at the business again. Is that all you can do? Is that all you can do? Or there are better things you can do? Always have a big picture in mind and let that drive you to take the right decision about the business. I want to say thank you very much again today for listening. My name is Dele Ayemibo from 3 Timpest Trade Academy in Nigeria. We come up every day, every weekday, 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Nigerian time. I'll be here again tomorrow as I continue discussing starting and managing export business, and I'll be discussing on how to mitigate your risk using principles. Remember, we have our YouTube channel, 3 Timpest TV. If you search for 3 Timpest TV on YouTube, you will see it. As you search for it, remember to like the video, drop your comment, click the like button, click on notification button, and more importantly, share. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave our page. Have a good evening and bye for now.